You know something about the one and only Ivan? It's the one and only movie I'm reviewing today. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here and you like movies, whether it be blockbusters, hidden gems, or everything in between, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with reviews of new releases and some classics. Today, let's talk about the one and only Ivan. This was just released on Disney Plus and was written by Mike White, who also wrote School of Rock and Nacho Libre, and it was directed by Thea Sharrock, and this is her second feature film, her first being Me Before You in 2016. And it stars Sam Rockwell as the voice of Ivan, a gorilla who's the star of a small circus within a mall. The act begins to struggle, but he lives a life of comfort and luxury and has a good relationship with the circus owner Mack, played by Bryan Cranston. However, that dynamic is changed when a baby elephant named Ruby, voiced by Brooklynn Prince, arrives and is taken under Ivan's wing with the hopes of turning the act around. I was on the fence about this one, especially because Disney Plus's catalog has certainly been hit and miss so far, and even from the trailers I wasn't totally blown away by this. I didn't want to totally write it off, but I was getting some Doolittle vibes from this, with this being another movie prominently featuring CGI talking animals mixed with live action, and the CGI not looking all that great, to be perfectly honest, so I was a bit weary. But I gotta admit, after seeing it, it was better than I was expecting it to be. Now, is it great? No, to be perfectly clear, and I'll get into why in a minute. But there's a sincere tone from this that made it easy for you to be invested, and while it's primarily aimed at kids, unlike Disney Plus's last movie Magic Camp, there's enough here that makes it accessible for adults as well, because it takes a very mature approach to its subject matter. Now, this was based on a children's book, and to my understanding, that went into even darker territory than what was seen here, and I don't know if I'd classify this as getting dark per se, but from what we do see here, it certainly doesn't pander to younger audiences and takes a nuanced approach in certain areas, especially when it comes to showing concerns over the treatment of animals. It also does a great job highlighting relationships here between Ivan and Mack, Ivan and Ruby, and Ivan and some of the other animals, such as another elephant voiced by Angelina Jolie and a dog voiced by Danny DeVito. There's a strong emphasis on friendship and having figures in your life who you deeply care about. That's especially a big reason why Ivan doesn't mind being in this circus for as long as he was, because he and Mack are so close, and he wants Ruby to have the same sense of comfort that he had, and we see a strong sense of camaraderie among all the animals. They stick together, they have each other's backs, and they try cheering each other up, and it was nice. They don't sugarcoat things at times, and it's a driving force as to why this movie works. I also like they didn't make Bryan Cranston just this terrible guy running the circus. You see, he's not perfect, and sometimes the stress of running this show does take its toll on him, and it ends up coming out to the forefront from time to time, but he's portrayed as this good person whose heart is in the right place, but he might just not handle certain situations the right way. Even though there's concern about the treatment of the animals, they don't turn him into a villain character, which was a plus, no pun intended. The affection he has towards Ivan and the fact he cares deeply about him when it was shown made for some of my favorite moments. And Cranston himself was good here. The way he'd play up the theatrical bit as the circus owner was actually kind of funny sometimes, and the voice cast did a good job all around. There was certainly a warm sense to Sam Rockwell as Ivan that I really enjoyed. Every time he spoke, he was always trying to comfort someone, and he looks out for everyone in the circus, and that made him a compelling protagonist. Though he also has his own desires. As the movie goes on, he develops a longing to eventually leave the circus, which is slightly hinted at in earlier points from some of the conversations he has, so they do a good job of planting the seeds early and making it an arc we can get invested in. The rest of the voice cast was also enjoyable, with the other two standouts being Brooklynn Prince as Ruby, as well as Danny DeVito as Bob, the stray dog who sneaks into Ivan's cage and hangs out with him, mainly because they had the most to do among the supporting characters. Prince was very sweet, and she's a very talented actress. The rapport that Ruby and Ivan have felt very genuine. Plus, Danny DeVito is someone who's almost always enjoyable, even when the movie itself isn't all that great. He's always funny, lively, energetic, and that was once again the case here. He got some good laughs as Bob, so I enjoyed him. But while the movie felt genuine and touched upon some solid themes, like I said, I didn't find this to be great. It's enjoyable, don't get me wrong, but it didn't always seem to hit these emotional highs with me. I think a big part of it was there's a lot of narration here. I like Sam Rockwell's voice work, and there were moments we'd see him telling Ruby a story, and there'd be visuals accompanying said story, but a lot of this movie is filled with narration, and it kinda goes down the show don't tell route more often than it should. And it never felt like it truly hit the emotional stakes it wanted to hit. It was certainly trying, I'll give it that. It wasn't like it wasn't making an effort, but I think it could have rolled held back just explaining everything to us. I also think the CGI not being so great didn't help things either. Like, it sometimes looked a bit unsettling, and while the solid voice work helped out a lot, it would sometimes be undermined by the CGI looking very obvious. It made the animals sometimes feel noticeably out of place, especially with some of the facial expressions they made, and it wouldn't always match up with the great voice work. And at times, it felt predictable. While, like I said, there are some very nuanced moments, there are also a number of times where you can call where this movie's going from like a mile away. And I think it felt that way especially for me because I saw the remake of Dumbo last year, which coincidentally also had Danny DeVito in it, and there are a number of similarities between this and Dumbo. Mainly that both movies take place in a circus, and there are concerns over the safety of the animals to different degrees, but especially both movies also feature someone who's working for the circus, in this case a man named George, played by Ramon Rodriguez, whose daughter, here played by Ariana Greenblatt, is instrumental in helping the animals out. And I thought the performances were good, I wanted to make that clear, but these characters kind of go in and out of the picture, and they'll show up just to check off a particular dramatic beat, and you can call almost everything they're going to do. The daughter is the one who really understands Ivan, she's the one who gets what's going on with all the animals, she picks up on what the animals want way before the other human characters do. And while, like I said, I like the acting, this subplot never really landed for me. I know these characters are in the book as well, but especially because I saw Dumbo, it just felt like more of the same to me, and that sort of subplot felt predictable to me even when I saw it then. It was nothing new, and I'm not blaming the predictability solely on this one particular subplot, but that was the biggest offender of them all. I like the character moments and the performances, but sometimes it just felt too formulaic. Overall, this wasn't bad. It wasn't great, but not bad. While it's definitely geared towards kids, it takes a mature, sincere approach to its subject matter, and because of that, adults will certainly be able to enjoy it as well. That being said, it's not as profound or as super emotionally charged as it would like to be, and while there was legitimate effort there, it was also by the numbers in certain regards. However, there are plenty of moments that work, especially thanks to some solid performances, and that's just enough nuance that the good outweighs the bad, even if only by so much. The one and only Ivan gets a 6.5 out of 10. So let me know, did you see the one and only Ivan, or are you planning to see it, and what were your thoughts? Did you like the themes? Did you enjoy the story? And what's the best movie you've seen on Disney Plus so far? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please like it and share it, and for more movie reviews and film discussion, please make sure to hit that subscribe button to stay updated. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll catch you next time.